Anthrax.
Fuck.
Have you been infected with Nox?
Noxious.
Noxious fumes?
Eh?
I wasn't gonna go that far.
That's. I think that's worse than the anthrax spam. All right. So are we ready? Or are we still setting things up?
Ready.
I try to wake up.
You're being recorded.
Ready.
Okay. So who wants to recap a bit of the last session of this time on Mindfuckery DZ?
Apparently, Evian has a dick. That's her
No, I don't.
dick.
Those were your words.
That was for a rest more.
You called him your dick.
Whatever. Fine. I
this
admit
is
it.
quoted-
He was my dick of vengeance, which I have annihilated, and it has been done.
It has been transcribed into the annals of history.
Yep.
We saw the traumas
Time to close the
of.
door.
We saw traumas of Zidane, traumas of Morani, trauma of Evian, trauma of.
Where there's trauma in my story?
Andoros?
Where?
Just be
Where?
thankful. I was so
Trees.
tempted this wasn't like a serious campaign in that moment to just have Thunderhand being your re-flashback there.
No.
I was very tempted. But it was
He just
kind
like
of
walks.
derailed everything.
He just walks out of a tree.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Hell.
I found you, lass.
Wisdom and Constitution saves. That's all they were.
I was
I'll
very,
remind you
very-
why my name is Thunderhand.
No, thank you. You can
And
go
the
with Ronnie this
trauma-
time.
And the trauma of Thamor. And all those traumas, Madeline is attempting to basically go, you suffered too. So did I. We should be friends.
Yeah.
We're all like, nope.
I mean, that's basically what I got for the video summary.
Half of us said "fuck you," and the other half said, "Well, no, 3/4 of us said "fuck you," and Zidane said, "Hey, we'll help you," and she said, "Fuck you."
And then he's like, okay, fine. I'll just try
It's-
again later.
It's the circle of life.
I mean, the circle of life does start with that first phrase, so. But,
Then we all
Yeah.
hopped in a portal to a mansion where apparently Absinthoth is.
Yep, something like that. Yeah, so she kind of poked into each of your minds and kind of brought to light some of the past trauma you'd gone through or things that harbored some doubts, potentially, or what she believed so, and still potentially unknown how much of what she said was true or how much she was twisting or how much she was trying to shed her own light on the things that occurred in your visions and her trying to, as Absinthoth, there's as Shred said, kind of try to convince you that, to help her to get vengeance on, like, just seek vengeance on those that have wronged you and, like, lied to you at this point. Kind of deal. All except for Alton, who was still invisible and avoided that entire scenario and instead tried to bean her in the mouth, literally, and in the action. Absinthoth, who we'll get to now, as he's having his own bit of this, and then Evian, who had a kind of different revelation since her past trauma, in a weird way, was already kind of resolved. So it led to a different kind of outcome. But and we learned a little bit. Well, out of character, we learned a little bit more about a particular character who doesn't know much about himself.
No, he does not.
Hey, who put that there?
Why are we drawing stuff on the map? Anything else? Questions, comments, concerns?
Let's go.
All right.
Do it.
I
So
think we're good.
to kind of step back in time a little bit, I mean, I'm sure you already listened to it, so that the same kind of events transpire around you, where these lights from the eye stalks, bathe the area in that purple and red light, including you as well. And in that bright flash, kind of rubbing your eyes, adjusting to the darkness around you initially, that kind of slowly fades into view. You're sitting at at a large dinner table. The very familiar scene of your family's dinner table, gathered around. Uh, Looking down, your hands are a lot younger. Uh,
Is it that night that we're thinking of?
it is not yet that night. It is
Hmm.
not yet that night. Though it is a few days beforehand, you realize. But it's just a normal dinner. Uh, as the rest of the Levia family is sitting around, mostly silent, eating upon the food. The only one really making much of a ruckus is, of course, your father, who is mostly just talking to himself as he tries to talk to other people around the table. But out of kind of looking around about the room, you do notice that amidst the quiet tones, Madeline, though again a bit younger in her teens again, um, seems to be having a bit of a hushed conversation with Mother. It goes back and forth for a bit, and you see the cross stern look between the two of them.
Hmm.
Time seems to flicker again. Again, the same table setting. Again, the family members sitting around it. Again, Father seems to be the only one making much of a ruckus. And again, you see a stern conversation between Madeline and your mother. Though again, it seems to get more heated. Uh, this happens again and again as each night passes. Almost in a monotony, as nothing else seems to change except the growing consternation between your mother and your sister. Each time, it seems just on the brink of Madeline getting up and almost leaving that table, much to the disapproval of the stern eyes of your mother. Until at last, it seems to shift into that final night. The night burned into your memory. During the course of that dinner, again, that hushed tone that seems to uh, grow darker and darker between them finally seems to erupt as she slams a hand down on the table, bringing a gasp in the eyes of everyone at the table. But your mother plays it off as she always has, in a very expert tone, gently just grabbing her by the wrist, looking over the rest of the family, and announcing, "'Tis time." Your grandmother nods, knowing what's to come. Grandfather, unable to say anything, just looks down and pokes around at the food on his plate, mostly uneaten. And your father is beaming with pride, though he doesn't seem to realize what's going on. His gaze and smile are distant, as if looking into a memory.
Hmm.
She grabs her by the wrist and drags her, you notice, upstairs.
Does it seem like people are noticing my presence at the table? You know how, like in dreams, they're a little lucid, where you're kind of like there, but the other people don't recognize that you're there. You know, unlike in real life, if I were to, smash a glass on the table,
Yeah,
they'd
they,
recognize it.
for the most part, they don't seem to pay you any mind, though for lack of them not knowing you were there, or mostly just potentially because that's how they've always treated you.
Mm.
After they leave, Grandmother resumes eating her food, and she seems to almost be kind of looking up every now and then, trying to listen. Your grandfather, in the same way, seems to be trying to listen, though trying to be a little more quiet about it, reserved as he's looking again down at his plate. And your father does talk to you, but he's also talking to everyone and no one. He just seems to be talking to, anyone he can look at, but doesn't seem to actually be engaging in conversation. Like a one-way conversation from him. As he talks about all sorts of oddities and things he's come across and shows he would like to put on and the tea he was drinking, how wonderful it may be if he were to try something different that evening.
I'm just going to repeat what I did that night and politely excuse myself from the table.
Your grandfather only looks up for a brief moment before looking back down. Your father just nods again with a beaming smile and seems to pay you no mind beyond after that fact, and turns his attention to your grandfather and just starts talking to him, talking his ear off about the different foods they should try or things of that nature. Your grandmother gives you a bit of an intense stare, seeming to know more than she's letting on, but nods anyway, before resuming her meal.
That's interesting. Would I still have my telepathic speech ability from Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, or would that not be applicable this time? Am I real young Absinthoth, or am I Absinthoth the adult and
You
Absinthoth
are
the child?
you are Absinthe as child as far as your abilities and capabilities are concerned at this point
Okay.
for what she is doing to you.
Got 4 hit points. Got it.
Yep.
So yeah, I am going to politely excuse myself. Then once I am out of the eye shot of people, I'm going to try and sneak up to wherever the grandparents are looking at.
Okay.
Certainly has piqued the curiosity.
You traverse up the stairs up to the solar, well worn. You've gone up there a few times, sneaking about perhaps, or just passing by to get kind of a look into it. It's a room that you know that your family never really intends for you to ever visit in any seriousness. The pact that you make with your god or demon, however you look upon her. It's a sacred art for your family. But one at this time doesn't really trouble you. As you move up there, slowly, carefully trying to listen for any noise, you hear the voices of your mother and Madeline in the solar above. The door has not been fully closed. And you can hear their voices rising and getting louder. Well, mostly one. Madeline's voice seems to be growing in frustration. But Mother's never seems to leave the calm, eerily collected voice that she's so well adopted. As you make your way up, kind of trying to listening to what was happening, trying to also stay out of earshot of them. Because you know Mother seems to hear more than she lets on. She could always tell when you're getting into trouble. But as you do so, you feel a hand touch your back and push you in. Almost potentially frightened, kind of looking behind you, you see the current Madeline. Grinning from ear to ear, she pushes you through the door. As you stumble in, you are once again your full self, your current self. And you look upon the scene playing before you that doesn't seem to notice the intrusion of a older Absinthoth, of Madeline and your mother, still continuing their conversation that night. The current Madeline just walks in behind you and leans over, whispering gently into your ear. I'm sure you'll be very interested to hear this, brother. She has a very coy grin upon her face as she looks up to watch the proceedings. The argument between them has grown louder. Younger Madeline is yelling at your mother. This is not balance. Why do we sacrifice members of the household so that we can gain power? Your mother, calm and as cool as collected, looks upon her. Well, this is the pact we signed. Years and years ago. You would be best to remember that day. Young Madeline scoffs and turns. Well, I won't have it then. This is not the balance I seek. I'm going to sign a different pact with her. I'm going to change our family. If your mother seems concerned to this, it doesn't seem to register on her face. She simply just strokes at her dress a bit, walks over to her, puts a hand on her shoulder. From the angle of the door, when you were a kid, it looked as though she was just talking to her, trying to comfort her. But from the angle Madeline has pushed you to, you see a dagger held in the hand, glowing. A summoned weapon.
A quick question.
Mhm.
So there was that cursed dagger we found way early on.
Mm-hmm.
Are 2 and 2 similar?
They are identical in design, but this one is more akin to your hexblade in terms of it's literally like a glowing blade.
Gotcha.
But the design is similar. She leans over, and again, from the door it looks like she's just comforting your sister, but up close you can hear the whisper. Careful what you say, dear. Familial ties are second when it comes to the pact. What is best for the family, and what is best for the world as we see fit. This is the way it has always been. This is what we've agreed to. You see Madeline shudder a bit, looking at the blade. She quickly turns and pushes against her mother, screaming, "No. I won't." Before your mother can react, and for once, possibly even surprised, you see Madeline conjure a weapon of her own. Small and flickering, as the pact has not been completed yet. Nothing more than maybe a dagger the size of a letter opener. She pulls it forward and slits at her hand.
Slits at Madeline's own hand?
Yes,
Like
it's
she's
at her
cutting
own
herself?
hand.
Okay,
Yeah, she's cutting herself.
continue.
O Zerael, hear my pact now. I wish to break the tradition you have caused. That will be my bond to you. That will... And as she is trying to say this, words that in your youth would have been heresy to your family. Your mother, the look of surprise gone, has turned into a cruel, wicked smile. The blade grows longer in her hand. So be it then, child. I, on behalf of Zerial, not Zerial. Why am I? Zerial, sorry. On behalf of Zerial, I'll make you regret those words. And with a flourish, she strikes out her blade and strikes the dagger out of your sister's, striking it to the ground quickly, before rushing forward and plunging the blade. In an instant, the blade is gone, after it plunges through and your sister falls down to her knees. No blood or wound seems to be left, but a giant mark on her chest. Her eyes are in shock as she looks up to her. As your mother is reciting the words to a very ancient spell. Madeline stares in shock as she tries to scream, but no words seem to leave her lips. And as the clock strikes 8, and a portal opens behind her, your mother just gives that grin again and pushes her in. Before calling out her last words to her sister there. If you will not be it, so very well. I will break the tradition then just for you, dear. Your brother will take your place. And instead of going mad, you will suffer for all eternity. She freezes in place. Portal seems to stop moving. A rigid 2D plane. As the Madeline behind you just crouches near you, looking at you quizzically now. So, what do you think of our dear mother, brother?
Well, the daggers move. The outcome's the same.
Of course. The outcome never changed. I wish it could. It's always about balance this, balance that. But is it really balance if she's only the one prospering? Why do you think grandfather lost his ability to talk? Or why father is, well, you know.
Him.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think the price of power is?
And now they're suffering, it seems.
Very, very good. It looks like your lessons weren't a complete waste there.
It takes different forms for different people. Even with the noble king of Galaran, the people in the slums suffer.
Very, very good. Why do you think Mother supports him so, then?
Oh, I'm sure she has her nefarious purposes for it. Still, the pattern repeats itself. You have a dwarven god king who wants to not do his duty, which causes the city itself to suffer. You have townsfolk who are racist against kobolds, causing the kobolds themselves to suffer. It's just the nature of existence.
The nature I sought to change, brother. And it starts with getting vengeance on the one who brought it upon us. We can rebuild this world. Absinthoss. My suffering doesn't have to be in vain. Turns out you did pretty well for it.
Before we get too far on this, why does it have to start with Mother instead of Zerial? You and I both know that's the root. Or rather, a larger root of the problem.
Oh, she will come in time. Baby steps, Absinthoss. She will come in time.
So you're
They all
eliminating
will.
Mother. And then you're going to equalize the balance of the city of both its god king and its populace, suffering populace, by annihilating them both.
She just gives you kind of a wicked looking grin. Yup. What better way than to erase everything and be born again? This world was broken once, Absinthoss. This time, there'll be someone around to build it correctly. I could use your help doing it.
I'm amazed you don't see it, Madeline. Do I have to spell it out for you?
She scowls at you.
You will benefit from the ability to recreate the world as you see fit with balance, by causing everyone else to be annihilated. How is that balance? I don't disagree that Mother should pay for what she's done. I do disagree with the scope at which you're willing to achieve this balance you so seek.
The only way, Absinthoss.
Is it,
Everyone gets
though?
equal treatment. Everyone is wiped clean. No special treatment, no priority. From beggar to king to god to damn. Wipe them clean. Start over. Rebuild. Erase the agony. And I've suffered more than a lifetime's worth. Surely you've seen. Power clings to you too. To rewrite. Call upon things that shouldn't be or never were. I'm the only one who can understand it. Your friends can't possibly fathom.
Absinthoth thinks about it for a minute. Nods his head a little with the idea. And what about Arestamore? Did he not understand it?
He was a fool. Short-sighted. His goal was for one thing, and he was willing to break the world for a single person. That's not balance, Absinthoss. It's the ravings of a madman. You and I are the sane ones here, aren't we?
Two sides of a coin.
Do you say, Absinthoss? There. Shall we rewrite the world? No more nobility, no more slum, or suffering. After all it's said and done, we can write ourselves out of it. I have no plans to exist after. Died once. I've suffered a lifetime tormented on death.
What did happen out there? You keep saying suffering. But from what I see, you're just like Mother. You only show one side of the story that supports your goal. What really did happen down the rivers of flames? The lands that are barren. Two armies clashed endlessly.
Her eyes, as you're like bringing this up, you just see her eyes like flash with hatred. And all around you, the room seems to just crack and break. It gets hotter and hotter. Steam seems to leak through the walls and crumble till it falls away and you see a hellscape. Rivers of molten lava and spikes of obsidian seem to jut out from every angle. And on an island surrounded by lava, 2 obsidian spires seem to rise, and chained between them is the young Madeline, as all manners of demons seem to circle her, prodding her with searing spikes, torturing her in different ways, for in some ways healing her back, to continue again this cruel fun.
Then what happened that broke the cycle? That made you, well, kind of gestures over to Madeline. That's the current form as opposed to the child Madeline.
Guess I was given a chance. I screamed endlessly for a lifetime, for a chance to fix things, for revenge upon those that caused this, for anyone willing to give me a chance to restore the balance that they so told me was the essence of this world. And finally, something granted that way.
When?
Few weeks ago, I think. Hard to tell when I'm stuck up in that solid rock of a prison.
You see Ansas doing some counting in his hands. Precisely 2 weeks ago?
Probably.
You see his eyes bulge out of his sockets for a second before going back to an attempted calm and collected manner. You make a convincing argument. I need one more bit of evidence before I can make a conclusion.
As you say this, you see the scape around you kind of slowly reform back to the solar. And what is that, brother?
Before this confrontation, I know you and Mother had other heated discussions.
What of it?
I'm not fully convinced that you're doing this for the betterment of anyone except yourself. After all, we are both Mother's children.
First time that conversation, you see a more crestfallen looking Madeline. A more softer expression, kind of reminiscent of the one you remember from your youth. In those discussions, absent us, I kept telling her to find someone else. I didn't want to use you as my bargain for the pack.
House is deep contemplating in thought. He's struggling to decide at the moment.
Okay. We will cut back then in a bit. As you hear the breaking of glass and other such things coming from downstairs. And Madeline turns sharply to the door. But before we get to that, Alton. As you are hiding behind, still invisible behind this large creature, as you see her eye fixate and seem to waver between, like, glaring and open-eyed, just seeming fully transfixed in it and what it's accomplishing. You feel your ring grow hot. And it goes warmer and warmer to a point where it's almost painful to keep on your finger. And you look down briefly, though invisible, you see nothing, trying to figure out what's going on. And with a bright flash that seems to originate from your hand, kind of blink your eyes. And all around you, you just hear a voice. That of a kid. Grandpa, tell us again the story. Tell us again how you fought the big bag dragon. Yeah. Another voice seems to chime in. Tell us about that one. You open your eyes. You're sitting in a rocking chair in a very nice, well-decorated home. Fireplace burning near you. 2 young children are sitting at your feet, looking eagerly at you. Across from them...
No, nothing.
Across from them, sitting in another rocking chair, very beautiful woman sits, kind of giving you a coy smile as these kids are pestering you for more stories. Very elegant woman. You could only recognize as maybe Whisper, but not dressed in the garbs of nobility or the trappings of the faceless, but rather just more commonplace. As you kind of look about you, it's calm and peaceful in this. The kids seem to be getting a little bit agitated. Come on, tell us another story. You're so good at this. The story you were telling seemed so real. Couldn't possibly happen. The characters in it are friends, yes, but they're doing they never had this kind of adventure. Some you've only heard of. I mean, for sure, everyone's heard of Andros, the great captain of the seas. Pirate hunter by name or by trade. And then rumors of a druidic warden on the outskirts of the forest. And of course, who could forget the lawkeepers, the Green Sentinel and the Lawbringer himself. You know of them. The tales you tell were not ones you've had. As you're pondering this as well, another figure enters your field of view. Tall, slender. Can't quite tell if human or elf. It seems to be glowing as he walks amidst the room. The children are silent and no longer seem to be moving, frozen in time, along with the woman you could only describe as Whisper. He sits before you, pulls out a harp, plucks a couple notes before he kind of looks at you. Hello, Alton.
are we?
I'm gonna. Sorry?
Where are we?
He looks about. The story that should have been told. The story I remember. Before somebody rewrote my book. What do you think of this tale, Alton?
Nothing. I'm wondering why you call it your tale.
It's all my tale to tell.
Who might you be?
I'm hurt. I am Malil. All the world's histories, and all the world's heroes, and all the world's villains, goods the bads, are my tales to tell, a show to put on.
Alton is slack-jawed. He's like, wow.
Kind of gestures kind of grandiose around to the kids and whisper and everything else. This was the tale that was supposed to be told. Before the world fell apart, I guess. Before somebody wrote a new story. A much darker one, it seems, for you. Fate has a funny way of fixing a few things, doesn't it? He looks down at your ring. What was once a wedding band in this story is now your key to a power in the other. Funny. So what do you think of that tale, Alton?
It's hard to say. Sometimes you only get the sense of a tale once it's been told a few times. I'm not sure what to think.
Well, you're a bard, aren't you? Is it a tale you would want to retell? Is it a tale that you think will end well? Is it a tale that you could sing about, or say, or express? Or is it a tale that is better left unspoken?
Well, I guess I don't know what the future holds, but the tale I've been involved in so far has been one I would tell.
He grins like he's beaming at that statement. Ah, and that's what I like to hear from all of my wonderful, wonderful performers. You see, Alton, it's weird. The story was my masterpiece. Well, they all are, obviously. Anything I perform is a masterpiece. But to have it taken away and rewritten, I can't tell if I'm offended or interested. After all, it's a new story to tell. But I'm not the only one, am I? Fate's a funny thing, Alton. No matter how many times it's broken and separated and changed, some things just seem to find their way together. Take that group of yours. What were they called in your tale? The one where she points to Whisper. The one where she's a part of. Where you found her again.
Faceless ones.
Right. In this tale, they're a performing group. All of them. Great actors, singers. The head, he has a great baritone voice. He will never say it, though. And and you found your way to them, and they to each other. Some part of me still wonders if they remember, or have an inkling of the world should be. But it's not really my part in all this, is it, Alton? I just tell the stories and give inspiration and fantastic music and divine inspiration and, oh well. I'd say that's enough about me, but maybe it is.
Oh, it's not so bad. I'd listen to you go on for quite some time.
He gives a very courteous bow. Ah, you flatter me, young bard. But I am merely the storyteller. So, I ask you, are you wanting to give me a story worth telling?
I should like nothing more.
Good. Well, he kind of looks about him and he looks as though he's looking past you, like looking kind of outside the house. Seems like the tale you're in is in a bit of a pickle, though.
Well,
Hopefully you don't die. That would make for a very odd story ending, but be a twist. One I would graciously tell with the utmost suspense. Oh, how the people will mourn and drink to you, and how suspenseful a tale it'll be, but maybe perhaps even better if the hero miraculously survives. All these things make for a great story. Seems to smile at his own ideas here. Fate has a funny way of bringing everything back together, no matter how many times it's broken, Alton. I may only be around to tell the stories and tales, but between you and me and a drink or two, personally rooting for your group. So good luck, and have a tale worth telling. As he says it, everything grows bright for a second before you're back in this plane. Your band is kind of cooled off, but your rapier feels a bit warm to the touch. And we will hop back to the other party of constituents of sorts. So the rest of you, having gone through the portal that Arestamore has opened for you, are in the foyer of a large mansion, which, Evian, like I said, looks a bit familiar to you. You were in there a bit longer. A few things have changed, perhaps, as far as from the tapestry is concerned, but the general design is still the same, and you recognize it to be the foyer of the House Levia. Though it seems very silent, save for the commotions of footsteps upstairs.
She would glance at the others as they come through and kind of give him a look as like she needs to go like immediately. She has this bad feeling, and she just gives like a shaky sigh, and she's like, "We need to stop her." And then she will immediately make her way towards the footsteps that she hears in the direction of coming up from the upstairs. And then she'll just call out, "Absinthoss! Don't listen to her!"
Absinthoss, you hear a voice call out to you from beyond the solar. The voice of Evian calling out to you. It's muffled from the distance and sound. You see Madeline scowl a bit as she turns to the door and looks down to you. Well, brother, it seems your friend have so rudely barged into our home. How long do you think before they betray you, as Mother has? Can't truly understand the power you wield, or the faith, destiny that we could forge.
We should at least hear them out before we make any rash decisions.
He's kind of seething at this. Okay, Evian in the group. You call out, but you don't hear a response. Just again, kind of muffled sounds of a conversation coming from above. From the stairs leading up.
Evian just books it up the stairs, taking 2 to 3 steps at a time.
Ronnie just goes bounding after her and grabs a hold of Evian's wrist. Evian, wait. We are not on our own turf right now. I get it. I do. We need to save him. I'm with you, but we can't go off half-cocked. We only have one chance at this. We can't just rush in without a plan. If this goes sideways, then we're done. Not just Absinthoss, all of us.
That being said, everyone, well, stay close to me.
Evian would just bite her bottom lip and just look up the stairs. Like you can feel her arm is trembling as she's worried about Absinthoss because she made a promise to him, unbeknownstly to all of you, but she bows her head and she's like, I have to be there for him. I can't let him be alone.
We all want to get him out of this, Evian, but if we just storm in, then we have no idea what is going to happen. She already wrecked our shit almost, and I'm assuming I don't know what everyone else went through before we came here, but I saw some shit. Lord knows what she is doing to him. Lord knows what she could do to the rest of us if we just rush in. We need to be careful. We're here to save him, and we will try. I'm not suggesting we don't. But you're not going to do him any good if you let desperation cloud your judgment.
She gives one final look up the stairs before bowing her head. And I know you're right. You're right, Marani. I know. I know. Hope he's okay. But you know, if you think about it, we never really come up with plans. We do stupid shit before we act and everything. And sometimes it works out in our favor, you know?
I would attribute that to stupid luck rather than a pattern that we should rely on, especially when it comes to something like this. At the very least, we should at least just take our time. If we rush in not knowing what we're up against, then we all might be fucked. And then he'll really be lost.
It's probably what she wants, you know? Andros is kind of like pacing along the walls. Are there any, like, wine racks or any sort of beverage around?
Not in the room you're currently in. You're in that foyer area where
Okay.
you. The
He'll be kinda
chandelier's
like-
up there.
He'll be kind of like pushing.
But-
If there's any doors or whatnot that'll swing open, he's kind of like pushing them open, just gently, just kind of peering in, seeing if he can find a wine rack.
Nothing immediately. You would have to go to, one of like the storeroom or the storeroom or kitchen or even potentially the dining room. But nothing like in the entryway or adjacent hallways. I mean, there are like several like objects around, like expensive looking urns and stuff like that, or decorative vases. If you're looking for like something to smash, but wine wise, there's no food or alcohol drinks in this particular spot.
Andros will go and find one of the smaller urns and kind of he'll just pick it up in a mage hand and just kind of lift it over to himself. He'll look back at Evian. Besides, she really likes to talk and hear herself. Maybe we get her to come to us.
Russ,
And
what
just
are you doing with that?
Drifts it over to Evian. Got to do the honors.
Sorry. Well, wait. What was the thing you got?
It's just like the most expensive looking urn in the room. He's mage handing over to you, and insinuating you might want to smash it.
She'll look at it a little confused before getting the idea of how we first met rest more. She just has this slight grin and she just takes it.
Marani
And-
backs away immediately.
10 feet. 10 feet, damn it. I
And
have
she'll
one
just
job.
I don't know how heavy this thing is, but she'll
Not
do her
very.
best. Not very heavy. Okay.
It's like a very delicate, like glass porcelain vase.
She'll just look at it, look towards Andros, and she's like, "Let's wreck some shit." And then she'll just smash it down onto the stair.
Oh.
It shatters with a loud, satisfying glass breaking noise. Up in the room, you, Anna, Hapsenthos, and Madeline, you're hearing the sound of, again, breaking glass and things shattering. And Madeline just rips at the bridge of her nose. What are your barbaric friends doing? They barge into our house and now they're just breaking things?
No, I am pleading. Let's exercise caution. And Andros turns that into let's break some shit. I love it.
Andros
Hapsenthos, you
leans over to-
truly have lowered your standards for the kind of rabble you hang around.
You weren't there in the days after you were gone.
I mean, if you're gonna break something, you might as well just drop the entire chandelier like that one time.
Andros, onto it.
I was joking. Wait, no. We're
Andros
trying to
just
make a good impression, aren't we?
Andros just looks over at everyone. If there's one thing I've learned about rich people, they fucking hate when you break their shit. Gets them on edge. It gets really under their skin.
Well, maybe it actually will. This is counterintuitive, but maybe this will help pull her out of the void. They should remember something human.
You're thinking about...
Yes, I am still thinking that she can be saved.
You do realize we're in her little mine prison right now. How are you this... Good is a really nice word, and I don't really mean it, but...
Maybe when we're out of here, I'll tell you more about my kind and why this is so important to me. But for now, well, carry on.
Well... Thamor,
Yes?
what would you like to smash?
Hmm. Is there a
What
chandelier?
in this room draws the most ire for you?
Is there a painting of Andros on the wall?
I was wondering if you're just gonna say Andros. But unfortunately, no. There's no painting of Andros anywhere. But
Any paintings at all?
yes, there are paintings, just not paintings of Andros.
He just goes up to the paintings.
Okay, so Absintha's, you hear more smashing and shattering of things, and Madeline is tapping her foot, and she seems to just be scowling. Those brutish apes! I plan to destroy the house, but to do so... She just looks at you kind of almost just dumbstruck at this point.
So they're doing your job for you. Isn't this the balance that you sought? Destroy everything related to Mother?
Yes,
Then
but not in
everything
my...
itself?
In the reality, not... Either they're
Yes,
trying to
ground.
help me in the weirdest way, or they're too dumb to realize... Alright, let's go greet your friends, I guess.
Ending supporting pillars.
Oh, no.
No.
Where's the nearest load-bearing wall?
Can
Okay,
I pop
intelligence
out?
check.
Can I pop out a hex-bladed longbow?
Sure.
Right, I like to pop out a longbow.
She just kind of looks at it, and then kind of grins at you. Seems at least my suffering wasn't totally in vain then.
Most people's suffering rarely is. What
Just
you went
think
through
about
was
it.
wrong.
Like I said, brother, my offer still stands. We could fix this world.
It's tempting. It's hard to see a flaw in it. Let's go see what the ruckus is about.
And yeah, just another loud shatter, and you just see her again, kind of clutch at her bridge of her nose, and just go. Let's go see what your hooligans friends are up to. She takes you down the solar where you hear all this smashing, and you, at the top of the stairs, look upon a very destroyed foyer as Thamor, Andros, and I guess whoever else in the ragtag group is just breaking everything that isn't nailed down and prying everything that is nailed down.
I
Andros
am
is,
doing my best to keep guard, or like watch everyone. I'll watch all the doors.
Andros is freezing things and then using his stone arm as a bludgeoning thing to shatter them.
Madeline just. And just what do you think you all are doing?
Hey, look, right on cue. What'd I tell you?
This is your way to greet a member of the house.
No, mostly you in particular.
Right.
What did you think? You could get in all our minds, show us all the stuff that tortured all our lives, and then would we like you?
I don't need you to like. I need you to agree with me.
You have
I'm
a
offering
funny
you a
way of trying
chance.
to accomplish that.
Andor shatters another urn.
She just rolls her eyes. I was showing you the injustice in this world. I have suffered. My brother knows of this. My brother has suffered from this. You all have suffered from just the imbalances of this world. I intend to fix them all. You want to just keep breaking things, never fixing them and causing more of a mess.
But
So be
see,
it.
in here lies the problem. You've got one person, you, who's saying you can support balance. What about all the other people who you just decide that balance doesn't work for, or decide that what you're doing isn't balanced? Why do you get to decide what's best for everyone else just
Because
because...
I have the chance to do it.
Oh, so it's power thing. Just because you're powerful, you can ruin everyone else's life because yours got a little ruined. Guess what, Cupcake? All of our lives have got shit in it. It's called living. If you just get to turn over and blow it all up, start over again, that's not living. That's just a game. Life fucking hurts. And from what I heard from your brother there, yours fucking really hurts, and I'm sorry for that.
It doesn't have to. I have the chance to fix it. To fix this broken world. Break it all down. Build it
Doesn't
again
have
so
to
there's
be
no
broken.
more.
Andorus is just shaking his head.
It's
Doesn't
already
have to be
been
broken.
broken.
No, it doesn't have to be broken. It can be fixed. It may
my
be a
intent.
lie, but it can easily be fixed. It can be redone, but it doesn't need to be cause any more destruction. It doesn't need any more death. It just brings hollowness,
Can't tear
nothingness.
away the rotten wood without taking it away first. It all
It
must be
doesn't
cleared
do
and
anything.
reset. How would you know? You've lost a lot, suffered just as much as anyone else.
And I've taken down the man that brought me my suffering. But what has it gained? Gave me nothing. The only thing I got out of this was making new friends and potential a potential love. Accepts me for who I am. And if I were to destroy that, I would have nothing. What good would that come of it? I would lose everything again, and I don't want to lose it again. Vengeance is not the answer, Madeline. I know you suffered. We all have suffered. But all you can do is move forward. To forgive.
And in this case, which is necessary, we want to help you bring justice to your mother. For all else you want to accomplish, it's a whole nother matter entirely. I, for one, am glad to accompany you into your family home and deal with what happened to you. I offered you my hand and you sought to, well,
You
refuse.
offered out of pity. I don't need pity.
Pity. That's what you thought it was?
He just looks around at the group. He just looks over to you, Absinthoss. do you think of it? You know what she's done. You know the state of the world. We have a chance to fix it. Won't you help your sister?
Definitely a look of stress in Applesauce's face as he's struggling between the cold logic of Madeline and trying to reconcile with the hypocrisy that he's seeing.
Andros taps his foot a little bit. Looks up and stares directly at Absinthoss. You know, suffering's is part of who made me what I am. Everyone in this room, what they went through in their lives, it made them who they are. If you go with her, if you take that away from everyone, no one in this room would be the same. Every single person would be different. That woman there, points at Evian, she might not even look at you. What
Absinthoss
happens in
squints and
our
paces.
lives is important. You erase that, you start over, it's not living anymore.
Santos, you know I'll be there for you. Made a promise to you. You don't have to be alone. And I know your sister has been alone. Still save her. Please, Absinthoss. Evian takes a couple steps up the stairs, like keeping her gaze on him. Let us fix this. We can create something better.
Madeline.
Yes, brother.
I know we both want revenge against the one who made us suffer the most. Have you ever thought what she would do in your shoes?
Who? Mother?
Yes. Because frankly, throughout this entire conversation, you sound just like her.
She
Oh,
goes
Jesus.
really wide-eyed at that.
Oh, man.
And she just slaps you.
Oh God!
Oh, boy.
She just
I have
slaps
1d4
you
slap
hard.
damage. Alright, new character.
Yeah. She just has tears welling up in her eyes. How dare you? After all she's put me through. After all I try to do for you.
You try to do for me? And what'd you do to them? People I traveled with? People I tried to care for?
I tried to show them the same cruelties this world has, that they've suffered.
And we're
Have
all
them-
stronger for it. You can grow from this too.
Why, when it can be rebuilt?
Because then it's all for nothing. Everything we have gone through, all the pain that we have suffered through, it means nothing anymore. I don't want my pain taken away. I need it. It has made me who I am. It has brought me to where I am now.
But you've lost ones you've loved.
And I've gained more things that I love. I don't want that taken away.
Forests can be burned down to the last cinder, but that doesn't mean there aren't seeds that can regrow in its place. You just want to toss everything into the same midden heap and then wash it away into nothingness.
It's
That's not
balance.
balance. Balance is letting things decay and then regrow into something new and wondrous.
But that doesn't... No. But only some seeds survive in that scenario. Some prosper, some wither and die. How is that balance? How do some come out on top and others falter? Do some do everything right and fail? And others are just given everything.
That's the beautiful thing about us being mortals with choices. The ones that do survive can choose to lift up the others and then together make bonds that are stronger than the next fire. And when the fires burn down the forest, they will still remain. We've gone through those same fires together. And I am fully willing to help you survive this next fire. And then we can burn down those that need to be cut down. All you have to do is take my hand.
She stares at your hand, but you see her face is just... She's just kind of almost like on a borderline of a panic attack. Like you just see her like looking about. Her like demeanor is gone from someone who is kind of in a control, like even a bit of a crazy controlled state, to someone who's very much losing it. And as she's panicking, the walls around you seem to crumble and break, and her form seems just to kind of just shift and bend a bit.
The woman that Absinthoss has, I suppose, fallen for, made her own little bargain, her own little pact. Let me try making one with you. Promise to do all in my power to let your seed be wrested back from the 9 hells that you were cast into and bring you back to life, to grow, to stand tall. This I would swear with my own being. He's gonna take his halberd, slam the butt of it into the floor, and take a couple steps forward and reach his hand out towards Madeline.
She
I
again
am
kind of...
unarmed at the moment.
She kind of looks... No, you have your gear. She looks around again in panic. She just raises her hands up, clutching at her face, clutching at her hair, and she looks over again to you, Absinthoss. Is this what you really think? After all my suffering, everything, do you really think there's hope, Absinthoss?
Yes. And even if there was no hope, it's worth trying to fight for it.
She, kind of still clutching at her head, looking like one eye through her fingers kind of deal, looking at you, Zidane. You... I have but one wish. One condition. Before I even remotely begin to try and look through the lens you claim. I want my mother to pay for what she's done. I want House Levia to fall.
Zidane
that
looks at
include-
everyone else.
Does that include father?
As far as I'm concerned, brother, they're not even part of House Levia. They're just pawns. They're just tools to Levia. The house has always been mother's.
They are still people. I don't. It doesn't have to entirely fall down.
I can promise.
That's not what I meant. I just want the Pax to end, for the house and all it stand for to crumble, and for her to suffer. I don't care what you do with father, grandfather, grandmother even. I don't care. I don't anymore. I just want the cycle to end.
Zidane looks to everyone else, just like a quick.
Who and I
Asking
So
for-
Claymore is fully on board.
Madeline, that doesn't even make much sense.
The crumbling of the Pax. I think that your mother, seeing all that she's worked for, all the curses that she's wrought, all the sacrifices that she's made, all the backroom dealings with the Hells.
End
Tell-
the deal with Zariel. Once and for all. That's all House Levia has ever stood for. I want it to end with her.
Where, on my oath as a warden, and as one committed to upholding life, that your mother will perish knowing that all of her evil has become undone, all her efforts wasted after all these years of injustice. Those will be the last things that she see, and if you wish it, you can be there as I strike her down. All you have to do is take my hand.
If you fail your oath, Warden, know that I will enact my plan. Here's my bargain with you. If you succeed, wrote down my plan. Try to see the world as you see it. Or I will just erase myself if I can. But if you can't, if you fail, you and your friends will not stop me. You see her extend her hand, and you see it's glowing. Multiple runic symbols cross and form across it.
And I pray that we succeed. I take her hand.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a quick. ahead and just roll me a quick Constitution saving throw.
Oof. Okay, still have my aura.
Yep.
Come on, where to go? Con save. Hey, there we go.
Nice. Okay. You feel nauseous at first, kind of waves of dizziness and almost a burning from the hand. But as you grasp your hand, those purple marks seem to swirl and coalesce around yours, forming in a burning, like almost a mix of infernal and what you've come to, realize is void script being etched into the back of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And everything around you starts fading and breaking. Slowly warping. Alton, you notice the thing in front of you just out of the blue starts shrieking.
A little bit of poo comes out.
And it
Guys.
starts crumbling. Like the form physically is crumbling as if it were made of paper.
Ooh, good. Yeah.
And everything around you, once again, shatters.
Here we go again.
One last turn before the mansion fades.
The chandelier comes down again.
Evian runs up to Absinthoth to take his hand before the mansion fades.
All fades and blacks, cracks forming along the walls for those inside the mansion. For Alton, you just see the reality around you distort and form breaks. Almost, again, as the scene around you is breaking yet again. Before you all are once again standing in the courtyard of Dunmore proper.
Am I physically
Though,
holding her hand?
so I'm getting there.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting there. However, as you guys are standing there blinking out the sunlight, perhaps maybe that being the first big indication of a change, it's sunny here now. The sun filters in above you through an open sky. So Dan, you aren't holding your hand, or holding your hand. You're holding a necklace. With a bright crystal that seems to be very similar to the eye of the thing that you were once looking at. It is warm to the touch. And you can feel sentience within it. You also feel a bit drained. If you feel a part of your sentience is in there with her. Around you, the coagulation of, or the gaggle of dwarves, I don't know, the ones that Alton had brought, are looking around a bit of stupor as though waking up from a dream, scratching their head and looking around, looking for the thing that was once there, but finding nothing, and seeing the open sky above them are standing awestruck. All around you, the walls of the mountain have, or the very top of the mountain has just disappeared. Walls have now formed around, kind of reminiscent of the old walls that may have once stood. And sitting behind you, still kind of getting his breath, you see Grumbar. Though his dwarven form seems to be very broken. You see, instead of a, normal looking dwarf, you see a dwarf that seems to have, like, part of his shoulder extending out to his arm is a large stone appendage. Bladed and glowing. And his eyes are no longer that of a, kindly-ish looking dwarf, but glowing a bright ruby.
Never look kindly. Damn
Well,
dirty
you know.
lie.
Andros kind of walks up to him. Well, Stony, you're looking good.
I yes. It's all finally coming back to me.
So you're gonna, let the people go? Scoot on back to Earthy Land?
Once my bonds here are broken, I mean, yes.
Oh, fuck, that's right, we gotta go get that crown. A moment.
Elton
Grabs,
reappears.
But you're all there. You're all there.
Yeah. Well, he was invisible.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So Elton appears right next to Andros.
So it's one of the things that I will always remember about this campaign is Salty could not remember that I'm invisible most of the time. Yeah, Alton, good thought. I mean Andros, good thought.
Fuck!
We need to get that
Ow!
crown fragment.
Where were you?
Where were you?
Honestly?
No, I don't want to
Probably a
know.
good-
I don't want to know. Let's go find this crown piece.
Alright, how destroyed is the keep looking?
So, it's kind of odd. Because it was very destroyed when you last left it, but having regained a lot of its form, a lot of the stones that had fallen or crushed are gone.
Yeah, they weren't part of the original structure, right?
Yeah. So there are bits and pieces of the original structure or parts that were modified. So it looks more like the ruins of like a city or something that has just been long left behind. So a lot of stuff has been like worn away kind of mentality. So it looks very skeletal. But the throne is still sitting very prominently in the back, though no longer glowing except for the encased fragment.
I will
Alright,
definitely
here,
go towards the throne.
Yeah, Andros will pat Groombar. Hold here, Stony. Let's go get your key. And he'll just walk with Alton.
You just hear him muttering, he's going to really hear it from me once your stupid accent.
Do I hear this?
Yes.
Of course.
Looking forward to it, Stony.
I will crush you.
I will destroy you.
Never mind, I'm killing him first.
Enemies everywhere.
There it was. Yep.
All roads lead to Mass Effect.
Yep.
My God.
Evian, I have to admit, I'm uncomfortable with what Zidane just did.
Me too.
Everybody,
Ooh,
just
I'm
take questionable
scared,
packs.
too.
It's great.
Okay, I'm shutting up.
It may be a good thing. I mean, being as he is and everything, he might have a better proposition for her to save her. I mean, it is quite confusing and everything and conflicting, but at least she didn't kill us, right? But your mother is kind of an issue. And she kind of rubs the back of her neck kind of awkwardly.
She's still our mother.
I know
Matter
it's
what.
still your mother. It's just. Do you know any way that pack can be canceled? mean,
Sod looks
with
around. Shakes his head. Not that I know of. I do have to say, I'm glad we're here for each other. As he clasps his other hand onto Evian's hand to kind of make a hand sandwich.
Well,
It's descriptive.
a ham sandwich.
a hand sandwich. Ugh.
Ever the romantic character, I suppose.
My first girlfriend, okay?
Oh my
No
gosh,
bully.
they're making hand sandwiches. Get a room.
Oh gosh.
Need to get the censor bars out. Ah.
Lewd.
I
Well-
will stop this
Premarital
recording.
hand holding.
I will turn this car around.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just afraid we are ending up in a situation more dangerous than the one we had here.
it may be so, but in a way, danger does attract to all of us.
It does. Although I feel like, as he looks over to Thamor, if we all go into the mansion, the estate, we'd have to think about it before we just barge on in. What the heck were you guys doing? Smashing urns and...
It wasn't my idea. Well, I was fully rushing to get to you while everyone else tried to find another method, so I may have broken one. Just one, mind you. But at least it got her attention. And she kind of nervously smiles at that.
What color was the urn or thing that you broke?
It's like a, like I said, it was a white porcelain kind of.
I mean, it doesn't
Usually
really
it was in
matter
gold.
since it was in her mindscape, right?
Mm. It was
Break
white,
urns in
wasn't
your
it?
dream. You break them for real.
Oh no. Yes, I think.
Ever heard of the urn effect? Where if you break an urn on one side of the world, it
There
affects the
wasn't any
events.
ashes in it, was it? I don't recall any ashes.
No, it was her favorite. It was Madeline's favorite.
At least it's still realistically okay in your mother's home. But anyways, yes, concluding a plan to get to your mother after all of this, if we all get together and survive. Well, surely we will, of course.
I get the feeling she's already knows that Madeline has escaped. Because, you know,
Even more reason to meet your mother again, and
she's gonna send us both to hell this time. Probably.
well, I'll go anywhere you go. Now you know that.
We should find Father first. At the very least, looking over towards Thamor. Before we do anything rash.
I think more it's kind of changed than you would have known the last time you spoke.
One more thing.
Hmm?
Do we still have those beans?
For God's sake.
I mean, the
One
last person
last.
who had them was Alton. Why?
Oh, you're blowing me in? Oh, come on. Did Thamor hear you say that?
He's too far away.
Probably. I figured she would. I mean, he's not that far away.
He's,
Zerg, you're muted.
Who has the beans?
that
What's
would be
your
Alton.
passive perception there, Thamor?
How do I check passive perception?
It's your
Perception plus.
Oh,
perception,
yeah. Let me go.
stuff.
Let me go
Yeah.
see my perception.
10
13.
plus your perception. Yeah.
13. You kind of pick up on some things, but you're not really listening, knowing you.
He just
He's
kept
thinking
getting
about-
glances from Absent Thoughts. What's going on over there?
He's thinking about fishing.
Looking in this little tiny fountain.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well,
Zerg, you're still muted.
Yes, he's gonna go fishing in the fountain. No, am I inside the fountain? Because that's how I ended up.
Basically, that fountain's dry. It was.
Oh, it's
I couldn't
completely dry.
remove it, yeah.
God.
Because it's where he used to summon the table initially. From a while back.
Yes. Are you guys done, Evian and Absinthoss?
Yeah, until Alton comes back.
Thamor has come up next to Zidane. Well, first off, Zidane's gonna look at the amulet that's, I'm guessing it's a chain, and then amulet with the gem set into it.
Yep.
And I guess I'm going to try thinking and saying with thoughts to the gem. Think.
You've already made a Dark Deal 1 campaign. We're going for 2 here?
Oh, shut up! Damn it, Shred. No, stop. Anyways, damn. I lost my train of... He's gonna say... He's gonna try a
Oh no, the
contact
train of
with
thought for
Madeline.
thinking with his thoughts.
Y'all suck. I'm just gonna let it drop. No, he's gonna try speaking with Madeline, assuming that she's inside the gem.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, well, there's that. Did you not want to walk on your own 2 legs? Sunlight actually feels decent.
Can't take form in this world. Not for a while.
Oh. I'm sorry.
So, for now, I reside in my own little plane. Don't you get any ideas? The pact we made is still strong. She says that you notice your hand is still glowing with the rune she left. Be watching through your eyes.
Of course. Although, I wonder if, within the confines of the sanctuary, the rules are different. Maybe then you can, I don't know, take form there.
Opening another plane in another plane, or pocket plane. That sounds like a really bad idea, Zidane. Or did they not teach that in Warden School?
I never pretended to be a good practitioner of the magical arts. I don't think any of us are actually taught in that sense. Maybe Absinthoss, but...
Could never have fooled me with the way you decided to enter our house. Perhaps if you're really bored, I can find it somewhere in my deep, dark heart to teach you basic etiquette and manners.
Well, considering that I've been named a noble, I would actually welcome that. It's surprising, I know.
Has this world come to? She just goes silent after that.
Yes, shut her up. Well, he smiles and he's going to slip on the necklace and let it sit next to his warden uh, focus. And he's going to look up and see that Thaymor's right next to him. Oh, hi.
Hello. That's it.
How are you doing?
I just imagine Thamor's just sitting there deep, heavy breathing randomly. Just
Somewhere, somehow, Thamar knows a bean was wasted.
Oh, that's why he's there. He senses the bean in the other place was lost in this general area. There we go.
I'm
Where is
down.
it? I know it's here somewhere.
Yeah, you should give him a GM
after
grant
all
power. That's like
after all the
know who
revelations that's
knows.
been had, that's what's triggering Thamor the most right now, is that somewhere, someplace, a bean is missing.
Well,
Mhm.
that was
It's
the
like Fine
path to
Traps,
his
but with
godhood.
beans. There's a bean here somewhere.
It was his path to godhood was the consumption of these magic beans. Of course he wants more.
Maybe if I look hard enough, I can find another bean here.
Start
Uh
checking the carpet for beans and shit. We gotta take you. We gotta take you to rehab.
um so Zidane is going to pat him on the shoulder and say, "You fight very well. I am glad to be at your side and not in front of you, taking the brunt of it."
Thank you. You also fight well. Oh,
And he's gonna go over to check on Marani.
Marani has just been staring at the sky ever since we got back here. Just kind of this relieved, calm expression on her face.
If you happen to see a big yellow orb in the sky, don't look at it for too long. I hear that it hurts.
I'll keep that in mind. It's a shame that, well, I'm happy to see the sky again regardless, but it would have been nice if I could see the stars right now.
We'll get the opportunity to.
Yeah. Kind of drops her gaze down to Zidane and just gives him a smile. I'm glad we're still here.
He lifts the amulet with a finger, looking down on it, and then letting it clank against his armor slightly. For a little while more, at least.
I hope you know what you're doing.
Well, I'm righting a wrong. Hopefully stopping another wrong.
For what it's worth, I think you did a really good thing. I just hope that we're able to see it through.
Well, I am too. Especially since I know I have a very skilled star reader. Helps guide us through the night.
Someone's got to be there to patch you up.
That too.
She just pauses momentarily and then she just says to herself, oh, to hell with it. She drops her quarterstaff to the ground and she walks right up to him and she kisses him.
His halberd falls over too.
Oh, come on. So they get to kiss first?
You had opportunity, I took mine.
And you just hear a groaning in your head. Get a room.
Blah, 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 blah.
And she just kind
He's
of go ahead.
so he drops the halberd off to the side. His hands are like kind of like when a cat is hugged all of a sudden and they are off to the side. He's not sure what to do, and then gradually just embraces her and returns the kiss as well.
When she finally pulls away, she just looks at him with just this stupid grin on her face, and then she just says, "We should probably talk later." And then she just bends down and picks up her staff and then walks toward the throne room.
Yeah.
Sorry, Key. Love you.
Everyone moves at their own pace. It's okay.
You're hilarious. Man up.
I mean, to be fair, there was a proposal long before this, so I mean,
Well, it was a
Rasnod's
fake
kind of already
proposal.
made his move a long time ago.
Everyone moves at their own pace.
Anyway, so Alton and Andros, you guys
Hold
have
up hand.
entered the
We're
remains
making
of
out
the-
in an alleyway somewhere.
Yeah, they're making out. That's what's happening. Apparently they're just moving at their own pace too.
Trans is
No,
silent.
Denied. I deny this.
Denied. I know.
I'm just kidding.
Franz and Andros, the ultimate. Yes.
Nope.
Oh god.
Bard's not the one doing it?
Wait, never mind.
Fake news.
Anyway, you guys enter the throne room. What are you guys doing in there?
Looking for the crown fragment.
That's it. It's right there in that throne. It's broken and crumbled a little bit. Its power faded, but still embedded in the center of it is the glowing fragment of the crown and a broken gem. Like was once encased in like a gem that has been broken and no longer seems to be glowing. That made sense.
Yeah.
It was encased in a gemstone that was glowing. The gemstone's no longer glowing and is cracked, revealing the crown, but the crown has got a glow to it.
So I'll brush the pieces of that gem, that encasement away and grab it.
Okay. Feels like all the other pieces, a bit warm to the touch.
Right. All right. Well, this is 2 out of 3. I actually left the other one with applesauce out there. He kind of looks down at the ground like a little ashamed. What do you think's gonna happen?
Andros
when
kind of
we put
crosses
these
his
together?
arms. Well, I'm expecting Stoney's probably going to hit me really hard.
Yeah, I am honestly not sure what column to put that in. The things that make me happy or the things that make me sad. but more practically, focus here. Why do you think this was made in the first place? Such an ornate key, as it were, to hold him here. Maybe it's what's required. I don't know about these things.
Well, if what Elduin said in the book is true, Grimlock was just copying something his friend did. And he pats the saddlebag that he's got on his waist.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, no time like the present. Shall we? Back to the...
I'm sure they've gotten into some sort of problem without us, so...
Yeah. I feel something's changed.
You come out to, an embracing Marani and Thamor sniffing around the fountain like a dog, apparently looking for a bean.
I will somehow find a turn in reality to go back to that realm.
It's the, we come back and it's the guy showing up with the pizzas and the room's on fire.
Basically.
Except there's one couple in the
Wait, again, you've got the couple making out in the corner. There's somebody trying to put out a fire with a towel, and
And someone's looking for drugs.
one guy's unconscious.
Where's Olared, by the way?
Her
To the
statue
center.
is still in the center.
It's still there. Okay.
Right, we're back. Absinthe. Oh, that sounds really. It's like tar. Can we do something about your name?
It sounds like a you problem, Andros.
Probably, but it's your name.
You're the one having trouble pronouncing it.
Oh, I can pronounce it. It's just icky.
All right.
Do you have the rest of the crown?
Oi.
Yes, I do. And then I'm gonna look at Alton. I'll do telepathic speech to talk about. We need to talk about those beans. Here's telepathic speech.
Thamor just pops up. Beans?
Beans?
Beans? Someone said beans.
Go ahead and roll me a perception there, Thamor, since you're, I guess, actively looking for them. To see if
I'm
you
literally using telepathic speech.
Oh, you're talking to. Oh,
Yeah,
Never
asking
mind.
about the beans.
my bad. I thought you said you were asking. Okay.
Yeah.
I misheard that.
To Alton.
Brain speak.
Brain speak.
Having a thought to myself.
I guess
Shut up!
I guess I'll
You
type
know
it
what
here.
I meant.
No, it's from a different. From way back when Absinthoth tried to do Mind Link to Alton, but use his voice as actor to make Alton think his own thought.
Oh, that's
That's right! He's not that Bolden anymore.
I remember that distinctly because it was like I had to act like, I've never heard my inner monologue be so accurate and
Made me think my own thought.
yeah.
As Absinthoth gives Alton the crown fragment that he was holding.
Okay. Well, don't know how this is supposed to work. So, Elton looks over to Grinbar, who is still kind of just milling around over there.
He's kind of sitting like looks to be in kind of almost great pain for the most part.
Oh. All right. Well, I think I'll go over to Old Red.
Okay.
And yeah, get in the water. And
No water. It's empty.
I want to read the full verse inscribed in the crown pieces before we do anything.
Go dig that up.
Oh, Salty, are you like looking it up or something?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Okay.
It
Just want to make sure we
is-
didn't lose you there.
No, I just forgot that. I wrote it down a long time ago, and I'm trying to remember where I put it.
Yeah, it's first of her line.
Yeah, I know it's like Old Red, first of her line, Queen to be, first emissary of the Void.
There we go.
May long she prosper. I
Okay.
think is what I.
Sounds good. If you didn't write it down and have it handy here, that's probably wasn't important, right?
Well, no, I'm fairly certain that's what I wrote. I'm trying to dig up where it was exactly, but I'm almost certain that's what I had written for it.
Okay.
Because I know the last line was not the big. It was that second line. That's kind of the big piece to it.
Oh my god, Raina.
Couldn't resist.
Um, I will try to go find it, I guess. I don't know where I actually wrote it down. Full
I
verse
don't
of
want
it.
to hold up the whole thing. I mean, I'm gonna read it out
No, I'm not
loud.
saying I'm fairly certain. I may be off a word or two. I'm fairly certain that was
Okay.
what was written. Was the Queen Olred, first of her line, Queen to be, first emissary of the void. Long may she prosper.
So, yeah, I mean, assuming everybody, Alton is looking around at the group for dissenting opinion on whether or not we should put this crown back together. Is anyone gonna stop him? Because it's gonna happen.
I'm just gonna be within 10 feet for that half damage resistance.
Okay, we're mechanically protected. Got it. How do you all feel about this?
I'll come over this way so I can throw a cosmic omen at you if needed.
Man, I'm feeling the love. This is good stuff.
Here you go. Just for that, I'm gonna move over here so we can switch spots if need be, just so you get some extra AC.
You're just gonna be there in case I fall down and beans fall out.
So, if you fall down, at least we can pat down.
I would like to cast Intellect Fortress on you, actually.
Wow,
Just
cool.
to make sure you don't go mad. You now have advantage on Int, Wisdom, and Charisma saving throws.
Nice.
I'm just sitting next to Frey.
Yeah.
Between
with-
between Frey and Groombar, I'm just kind of like looking between them both.
All
Yeah,
right,
like I said, Grumar looks to be in a bit of pain.
with one final look around the room to all of his friends, Alton will try to assemble the pieces of the crown.
Okay. As you connect them together, they glow a bit warmer, or they get a bit warm in your hands for a bit, and a bit of a flash before you see this bright light, and the crown fuses together at that part. Putting the last one in place, the same occurrence happens. Fuses, and the crown is made whole in your hands. The warmth from it is a lot more noticeable than before, and you swear you could feel a slight, like, pulsating, like, beating to the warmth.
Look over towards Greenbar. Is he changed?
What was that?
I look over towards Greenbar. Has he changed at all?
He's looking at you and the crown very intently at this point. And you just kind of see him, like, nod his head.
What you waiting for? Put it on her head.
After a very long, noticeable pause, Elton starts to put it on her head and holds it over, basically gently sets it down.
As it is set upon her, it glows brightly. For you hear the sound of, like, stone kind of chipping away as flakes of it fall off the statue in front of you. And the same kind of effect starts happening to all the stone statues surrounding. The sound of chipping and clipping away as stone falls off. Some simply turn to dust, crack and break. Though protected, not all were made whole or kept around. But as the flakes fall off of the statue of the young girl in front of you, she seems to regain a sense of human composure. of life before she kind of falls to the ground, breathing heavily, a look of shock on her face. And you hear a bit of a yelp coming from behind you. And Andros, even with a shock, you notice that next to you there's now 2 Grimlock-looking Grimlocks. Though one is very noticeably breathing heavily and got a look of panic, and the other has a giant stone arm and glowing red eyes. And you notice a lot of that glowing magic, like that was kind of coursing through Grimoire's arm, is faded now and kind of resumed a bit of normalcy to him.
King Grimlock, I take it?
Yeah, it's you lot! And he looks wide-eyed over to Ulred, and ignoring everything else, he rushes over to kind of catch her and scoop her up, kind of cradling her over there. And as he does so, Grumbar, you hear him kind of, or you feel like peel. He turns over and you just feel a giant, like, well, you know what? Actually,
Always good noises from a GM.
Andros, you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
And
As he,
and
as
so
a
it
giant
begins.
stone arm slams into your shoulder and slams you to the ground, and you see Grumbar giving you this just coy grin, like as smart alecky and grin as he can pull off in this form. I'll be seeing you a lot later, I guess. Before his form kind of crumbles.
Right as he hits me, he takes 10 cold damage. I have armor if I get this up.
Oh, so he strikes you with that grin, and he starts to crumble. You just see him, like, his eyes go wide a little bit, and he looks down to his arm to a bit of rhyme. He looks up at you and goes, "Oh, I'm going to get you for..." And he crumbles.
You see Andros just rubbing at his arm a little bit, and there's just the biggest smirk on his face.
Well, you cast that.
And you just feel, all of you feel, just kind of this dispersal of energy in the air. That overbearing feeling of another plane, just kind of encroaching, vanishes. And things feel right in the area. Frey doesn't seem as kind of frazzled as he was before being in this area, and you kind of feel that normalcy return to this area.
What you think, little one? Did we do it?
I think so. And he looks curiously up at you as to why you'd be talking to him.
Oh, everyone else is all paired off.
God.
Will you be okay with the one you have contracted with?
Oh, this? Yeah, they'll be fine. It's good to see him out and about. He wasn't himself.
It strains one be in a plane that is not their own for an extended time.
I bet you know all about that.
Yes. But I have found a better way. And Frey just kind of looks over to Morane.
He may be competing for a little bit more for time now.
I do not understand.
Yeah.
Frey hasn't had the birds and the bees talk yet.
He's had the elephants and spiders talk, but not the birds and the bees.
See, Andros leans back, puts his arms behind him to prop himself up, kind of looks up at the sky. I think I'm going to let her explain that one to you.
It just looks quizzically as an elephant can at you.
Just a very knowing, sly smirk on his face.
Frey just shakes his head. Such a weird, weird world.
Don't you know it?
But
So, because I am that paladin and like to use the thing, I would like to use Divine Sense.
Of course he does.
of course you do. On what this time?
60 feet around me.
On Marani.
No.
Money.
Evil!
She's crazy.
You just sent as Frey realizes what's going on. You sense him become incredibly malevolent. No, no.
Chaotic evil. No, it's like Groombar's presence was true neutral.
Yes.
I want Frey to become jealous.
Oh, of course you do, you chaos gremlin from the sea.
Yes, I do.
No,
Yes,
there's nothing really like you do. I mean, Olred and Grimlock do give off a sense of good. Not like celestial, obviously, but
That's the
they're
main worry.
they're definitely good. Like, I mean, it doesn't really tell you much more than that, but like, he's not evil. You don't sense any kind of like lingering things like that, but you do sense that they are both good.
Mm-hmm.
But he's
And-
currently cradling Olred, who is kind of sleeping right now in his arm. Like, she seems to be passed out.
I'm gonna go up to both of them, and I don't know if this is narratively or it actually does help. I want to use 5 points of lay on hands on her and then on him. Just a little
As
bit
you
of
like
them
reach
picking up.
towards her, though, he just glares at you and kind of like grabs at your hand. And what do you think you're doing? I won't let you lay a hand on my girl.
Do not mean you any ill intent.
You ignored all my warnings. We were happy. And you brought us back. And he looks around and is very confused now that he kind of is starting to take in the surroundings, and he looks straight up. What in Moradin's name have you done?
Gonna zap him with the 5 HP.
It doesn't really have an effect on him.
Okay.
He feels the energy wash over, and he kind of just gives you a glare, and then his eyes grow wide a bit again. What ails, Magic? Oh, you're his boy. Alright. Alright. He kind of cradles Olred again. Methinks you're owing me all an explanation of what happened here. And as he says this, he also is now aware of the dwarves from the town and everybody else kind of slowly come up around him. And you all get yours in turn. Now, what pray tell has happened?
We finished your last book. We put the crown back together. Grumbar is released, and the creature that he had been keeping at bay is gone.
Gone. How?
Do I need to roll deception?
Depending on what you tell him.
Oh, crap. Its original purpose of harming your people, we convinced it to go elsewhere. There was a battle, both of metal as well as wit. Sorely lacking in the latter, almost, but Dunmoric is safe from it.
No. I will have my answers here. What you all have done is borderline impossible. The only way I knew how was ritual. He looks down again at Olred. Failed.
Nothing is impossible if one is willing to change.
Probably bring yourself closer to the
Just shout
you're
across the
token.
courtyard.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
sorry.
token, Dave.
No, it's impossible.
Sorry. You guys,
Half glass. Come over here.
she'll walk up and she'll say what I just said.
Okay.
If
He
any of you
just
are
kind of
paying
again
attention
is
to her, 60
still
feet away, you see Evian's lips move slightly.
kind of is glaring. Don't understand. How did you get rid of that thing? And is it kind of looks around a bit? Can't all be over.
I'm also wondering exactly how that happens, Zidane.
Then all the tokens all of a sudden update to get closer around him.
All
Oh,
of a
that's not
sudden-
And we
scary at
all-
all.
that
We
was
all
weird.
stare at you. What are you hiding, Zidane?
Crap. Well,
Do you
Give
want to tell
me-
the tale, or do I?
do
Give me
you
a quick
know?
second. Sorry.
Wait, the GM's gone? Cool.
I cast fireball.
Oh. That's not the way I would have gone with
sorceress
that.
all along. I rifle
steal-
through the.
I steal the
Right.
king's belt.
I tie his shoelaces together. And run off with the princess. Oh man, ball pits. Those are so fun as a small kid, but then you look at them as an adult and realized so many things might be hiding in them.
Yeah, and there's barbarians who don't wash their hands after using the restroom. You kind of just.
Okay.
Okay.
We had a dance party while you were gone.
I figured as much. Who got drunk? Who
We
won
They
this
both
time?
fell over. I won
We
again.
tied Grimlock's shoelaces together, and
We found a bag with 20 more plank beans in it. Would you look at that?
Yeah. But knowing you guys, you wouldn't have opened the bag. It'd have been another 2 hours before you got around to opening it.
Oh, those are, yeah.
Oh,
Truer words have
true.
never been spoken.
I just want beans.
I'll get you some
I mean,
beans. God damn it.
Absinthoss could ask his void sugar daddy. Some of them.
I want none
Anyways.
of poisonous beans.
So the last thing is Grimlock said, "I want the whole story now."
And Alton reiterated.
Okay, so
And
you
Andros just said, "Do you want to tell it, lad, or do you want me to?"
The Dan is going to rub the back of his head, pull down the hood of his cloak. So, you remember how Riel had some out of the box ideas on how to solve problems?
Aye, the lad was crazy. Sturdy. Good healing. A little crazy.
So, those habits seem to have been rubbed off, and I'm. Well, how should I put this? I made a pact with the Actually, Andros, I think you're better equipped to say it. I don't.
I mean, you're doing just fine.
The
But
thing
yeah,
was. Let me try again. The thing that was trapped by Grimbar somehow was meshed with the little sister of our friend. He puts a hand out towards Absinthos. And because of that, because it was given, because she became part of it, I was able to make a pact to help her right a wrong. She had been sacrificed to the Nine Hells by their mother, and, well, I couldn't let that stand. The fact that the city is now no longer the sole target of her wrath, its wrath, the happy happenstance. So it's not necessarily gone, but we're at least able to take it far away from here. And
He,
he holds up the amulet that is
he
this.
looks at it and then looks at you. How did you... No. How did you complete the ritual without... You're still here? That's not how... How?
Well,
I don't think
some,
you've. Sorry.
well, just like your last book, sometimes people put in their own words and complete the story a different way than you thought it would, and
I don't recall writing that in my book, lad.
co-authors. He puts his hand and then gestures over to everyone in attendance.
Well, I hope you know what you're getting into.
We're getting
Didn't want
into what you've
anyone
set
to
us up
suffer.
for.
I didn't. I told you to leave it all alone.
And clearly that was working great for your people. Do you even think about them anymore?
As we're surrounded by a throng of
He
dwarves.
looks around. Did what I thought was best. Didn't expect her to show up.
Well, if this is what you thought was best, and we've now fixed that, I'm. This city may want to think about different leadership.
They're certainly going to need more than just your best.
Hey, they can choose someone else from among them. I am not fit to be a king. Never wanted to be a king. Just wanted to write books about my friends. Go on adventures.
And and what of this one? And he looks down at Olred, who is she like actually in his arms or what?
Yeah.
What of this one? Are you okay?
She seems fast asleep, but as you, I guess, kind of call out to her, she kind of groans a little bit and opens one eye. Oh. Hi, Pa. All right. He just clutches her tight. You're hugging too tight again. Did the bad thing go away?
Sally,
Hylas. It's gone. She just kind of gives a grin. Mm. Oh, is Ellie still there?
she should be down below. She was waiting for you
She looks up at you. Oh, who are
to help.
you?
Well, I don't think that we are necessarily her friends, but She helped us. She helped us become strong enough to rescue both of you.
Let's just say she gave us the idea.
Ellie's nice like that. She didn't believe in heroes, but she liked the stories we told of them.
He's got quite the imagination, that one.
Mm-hmm. You see Grumbar is just kind of groaning a bit at memories of what their imagination has led to.
Knowing
Oi, Grimbar.
looks.
No, not Grimbar, he's Grimlock.
Or Grimlock, yeah.
Grimlock,
Aye.
if nothing else, you've got a responsibility to this girl, and that one down below.
Aye.
We can figure out who takes over as king or government. I'm sure your people certainly will have a lot to say about that. But
I'll hear them out and we'll let them decide. I have no interest in the crown. I will help find whoever wants to take over. Then he looks down at all red. I think it's time I go on a journey with my daughter.
daughters,
Aye, if the other one can come with, I'll take her too.
Red, are you hurt in any way?
She just nods her head no. A little tired. Feels like I've been asleep for a very long time.
Uh, so to speak.
You see her kind of go quiet for a moment as if she's like kind of listening for something. She kind of looks down at her hands. Oh. Oh. She looks about and stares almost like directly at you, Absinthoss. And she grins a bit of a knowing smile before she lays back down. Oh, yes, I have been asleep for a very long time. It's okay. Ellie will tell me all the stories.
This is Grimlock or Grunbar? Which one are we talking to now?
It's Grimlock.
Grumbar is gone. He punched Anderos, got hit with ice, and disappeared.
So, Grimlock, we need to, for lack of a better word, debrief you. There's a lot of story that I'm still unclear on. And I know some of us, and Alton looks around to Evian and Absinthoss, would probably appreciate some of your time just to get the stories right.
I can tell you what I know.
Are you
Good.
hungry?
Yeah, let's take a bit of a break though.
Are you too hungry?
I could go for something, I guess. Yes, technically I have eaten in, how long has it been?
Well,
Best
for
not
now,
think about that.
yeah, for now, could you grant me at least partial authority to run a bit of the gates here? I think your castle is currently under occupation by your loyal subjects.
Start a cult. Start a cult.
I seem to be able to do a good enough job there. So if we have some time, I wouldn't mind helping.
He just, you see him just kind of groan a little bit and gently kind of sits Ulred up on her own before standing up and looking at the faces of all the dwarves, current and old. All right, there's a lot of you that know who I am. There's a lot of you that think you know me, and there's a lot of you doesn't know me yet. Suffice to say, King, or was, I don't know, Grimlock, draws a mixed reaction from a lot of the dwarves. The ones that are encased in stone very much know who he is.
Can I
Some of the
start
newer
playing
ones.
like a little tune, like very subdued, but like I want to augment his abilities to
Sure.
charisma?
It's been a bit of a crazy story. Those of you that were trapped to my decisions, I apologize. But you know what we faced in those times. I don't know what the future or even now holds. But until I do, and he kind of roughly just grabs you and shakes you, like kind of like holding you by like your arm or whatnot, like kind of trying to hug you in a way, or not really hug you, but pulling you over, like pulling you close.
Yeah.
I am appointing what's your name, lad?
Elton.
Alton is my steward and advisor. Until we can sort out the proper future for Dunmork, I expect any of you to reach out to any surrounding cities, propers, whatever we got left. Let them know that the detainment, or what are they calling it? The curse? Whatever is over, and the true king is back, I guess.
The Dunmorix sees clear skies once more.
That. Go that. I like that one.
Grimlock,
Aye.
you might want to wait on that. You do realise people will come a lot in droves.
Yeah, that was going to be my first point of attention. With you, Andros, we should endeavor to secure the port immediately. But I think, that's part of getting people back to their normal lives.
Give it a time. Let's settle what we're doing for your government before we start bringing in emissaries and other pompous dickshits.
The king is not right. Fine. All right. Just okay. Second thought, then, people. My good dwarves, keep it quiet until we tell you otherwise. Right now, let's just rebuild with what's here, and
Take
get
stock.
to know each other. It's been way too long.
So how many message spells were just silently casted?
There's about to be another one real soon here.
All right.
Well
So he kind
said.
of
Well
claps his
said.
hand, and he kind of turns and looks at the ruins of like what the king castle Groombar built. Oh, the rocky bastard!
Oi,
Let me
be
guess.
nice.
My throne's underneath this, isn't it?
Yes.
Eh,
Stone block it. Always said he'd bury me, so he buried my whole.
To be fair, Ellie sort of made a nice little fun dungeon.
Ellie has the run of the. Oh,
Just the lower level.
what did she? Don't tell me she. And you just see him get up and start just marching, like muttering incoherently at this point over.
Probably let Olarid go in first. She's not gonna try to trip any of the.
Oh, she wouldn't dare trick me.
Oh, wow. That's actually kind of interesting. I kind of want to see that reunion.
Oh, they were the axe.
Oh yes, that's
Amor is
right.
just standing nearby with this gleaming golden axe strapped to his back.
All right.
You didn't notice that.
Alton will need to go over to the people that he convinced that Brother Crumrig is dead, and reintroduce himself, and yeah, I just got appointed kind of an emissary here, so can I talk to you? I think it was the two guys that were in charge of the kind of the cult or mob or whatever you want.
Yeah, there was three, but there was one that was preeminent amongst them as well.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I'll go up to the group of them and just say, so it's a terrible thing that Brother Crumrig is no longer with us. I don't know what happened to Brother Iron something or other. I can't remember what Shred's name was. But yeah, the king is a bit
King's a
out of sorts, as you can imagine, having been encased in some enchantment for the last 100 or so years. So I think first order of business would be to establish a real outreach and government organization here, and the three of you have served your kingdom admirably. Would you like to help me in these efforts?
They look at you kind of like shocked a bit, and they kind of like talk amongst themselves a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I will add, and he says this as they're conversing, just quietly, that I do not intend to stay within Dunmorok, and so it's entirely likely that whomever I choose to help me in these matters would ascend to my position when I leave.
where is?
Probably need to make a check on that, but
Trying to remember the name.
who knows?
There it is.
Elton
Ephraim.
is. Yeah.
There's Hephrem. There's four of them. Sorry, it's Hephrem, and then he's got three followers: Barrington,
Perfect.
Gazul, and Dern.
Man, my cult
That's
is
correct.
huge. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Hephrem kind of like speaks again. Brother, I, I will serve as honorably as we can, but he kind of looks awkwardly at like the other doors. Some of these of our kin have been around for centuries longer than us, maybe. Perhaps they're better off to lead. They're not going to listen to us.
That's true. And where you find resistance in that matter, I would expect them to be forthright and tell you if they were, members of the former government or whatever. And boy, that seems like a really good idea to at least vet them a little, but moreover, allow them to retake their positions within the former government. If you find people that don't listen or wish to do other things than kind of what
Maybe
the king is
we should
doing.
get the. He like kind of snaps me. We should get the captain of the guard back over in the port city involved.
Exactly.
They should know what to do. There's plenty that were still loyal to the king. The way the king was, and that's the old king. Then perhaps we can garner some loyalty with them. And reopen the ports. That'll bring the priests back.
Yes, I think you're exactly right. I think the only thing that I want to make sure of, and this is why I'm talking to you, is that word be sent to the port that we should be very careful about what arrives next. So please, give, ample warning to the port authority, as it were, that I don't think any new ships should be allowed to enter still for a bit until the city sorts itself out.
See what you mean? Okay. Um. hmm. Is it alright if I convene with some of the other dwarfs? I want to get like some other opinions. Makarim for sure. He probably can get with them with the, under the protection of Morden and all that, and bring up the older texts. And so if we, and he kind of just starts muttering off a
Of,
bit.
of course,
Um,
and I'll come with you. And Elton kind of, puts an arm around him. Yeah, let's go.
okay, thought I'd be friends with a human, but all right. In memory of what brother Crumrig would have wanted.
I didn't know him that well, but we did share a brief moment where I could tell that he was a very pious man. I'm
I will
honored.
tell
Oh
you all
goodness.
about him.
Oh, please do. Please do. They walk off.
He'll go on and start rambling about the speech you gave in the bar, and he's gonna start going with
I
that.
love it.
This lie is gonna come crumbling down the moment that the actual crumb rig shows up.
Yep.
Oh god.
He's still very much alive.
He is risen.
Hmm?
I just
Now,
said he is
Alton has to go
risen.
assassinate a priest to cover his track.
He's going to be very confused, and then Alton is going to be very gone.
Not my problem.
Yep.
So
And of course,
is
Salty,
Ellie
like
still
at
with
some
us?
point, he will break away and try to talk to Whisper, but like whenever you're ready.
Ellie is still with us.
Ellie's still with you. I was tempted to see if we want to potentially kind of wind down or call it here, if we want to. How we want to
I
like.
wanted to put up the sanctuary and was wondering where you'd want to go after that.
And I was wondering if I could just talk to Restamore very briefly to see how he's doing.
Okay, I mean, we could do that here. We could do that in the text log as well. Because I figure there's gonna be a lot of conversations people wanted to have with random each other and characters after all of that.
Where's Martha?
I actually remember that shit.
I remember everything.
He writes.
She would be amongst the dwarves in the castle, so she's there
That
somewhere.
was hopefully my next step after talking to Mom.
I mean, yeah, I guess you technically can, bring her back, because you do need to. I imagine the next step is going to Galaram, potentially. Or you may find.
We go
Sailing.
back there? I mean,
Sailing
the
back.
last time we were there,
I don't know.
Andros is still on the run.
I don't know. I don't know what your
Years.
plans are.
Remember,
I have
there's
a
also a
big
chance.
shit-eating grin on right now.
Remember, there's also a chance. Since we teleported out there could be a massive terror where pirates from a different dimension are currently attacking everyone.
Oh, yep.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who knows?
That's a
But
thing.
yeah,
We escaped the tear, but the tear might still be there. That's
We might
It's
have
okay.
some interdimensional
We could just throw
pirates to
beans
deal
into
with.
the tear. It'll be fine.
No, then
yeah,
you
about
won't?
those
More.
beans.
I guess there's
Take
a stop
more,
by
jump after
Malaya's.
them.
I guess that's the plan. Is we're gonna have a quick side trip to Malaya's to restock on beans. Then we face our problems.
Oh, what would be cool is if there's actually a Dwarven Mage Association of some sort with a working teleportation circle. Ta-da!
Where's my destiny point at? We need this.
Give a wish spell.
I'm sure there are some dwarves.
No, the
some
last time we
arcane
used a wish
dwarves.
teleportation, we ended up here and then are now rebuilding a government.
It is the real BBEG. Bureaucracy.
God damn it. Shred, no!
I gave you the option of tearing it down. But I figure that may be a decent place to stop, unless there's any other big.
Level up?
Oh, we just leveled up. I mean,
I'm very hurt.
I would love to level up, but just to have from 7 to 8.
I mean,
That
Did
technically,
say that we
have
were
finished this
leveling up to 8
campaign.
when we were done. So
Wait.
are we done?
Technically, yes.
I mean, we still have a mom to murder.
Hold on.
I
mean,
It's a
bring to
separate
justice, right?
adventure.
No, we're done with Dunmurk. The mom's
You're done with
Dunmurk.
Dunmoric, not in the way I actually fully intended. But
We fought
When-
half your boss.
There's still
actually-
time for the other
Diplomacy
half.
won out.
There is
Okay.
still time that the boss fight can happen because you've only really delayed it until you can prove her otherwise.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
I actually had a boss fight planned. Wasn't expecting. Well, the RP was actually a lot of freaking fun, so
Mhm.
I let it play out as it did.
We're gonna take Zidane and sail him out to the rift and throw him in.
Ah,
Fight done.
I've always wanted to play an artificer.
this time you can be a Githyanki artificer.
Ooh.
We will exchange. This is an equal exchange. There we go.
Guys, Spelljammer, it was announced. It
Ooh.
exists.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
But I would want to put the sanctuary up with all of its, I don't know, rooms and whatnot. I don't know where I would do that.
I mean, it can be anywhere. Just the door kind of appears. But
But
it's
obviously
more
the
so. Do you
statues
want to
could
spend
be-
the time? I guess you could start doing. Like I said, a lot of it which is why I'm trying to figure out how you guys want to proceed with it. Because a lot of what's going to happen now is going to be a lot of like either downtime or, depending on how much you want to RP, some time skipping of kind of rebuilding and recollecting. Unless you really just want to RP all of the intricacies of trying to build a dwarven government for them.
No, but Alton wanted to be super, involved in that. So
That's
but I
fine. You
don't
can
want to
be
role
super.
play. Yeah, I don't need.
That's
to
what I
do
meant.
that.
You can be super involved, and I'm fine with like we can do some dice rolls to kind of like figure out some of the outcomes of
Yeah,
that. But we
yeah.
don't have to role play all of the like the nitty gritty details of. I'm
Mhm.
not playing a politics role simulator here. I can't do that.
Oh darn.
I wanted to
I
play
mean,
City
to be
Skyline.
clear, I could do it, but yeah, I'm not. I don't want to subject everyone to the intricacies of the Clone Wars.
I'll tell you
I
what,
am
I'd
I
rather
am
do it.
very happy with highbrow. This happened.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
happened.
I am
like to-
good.
Yeah, I like to RP things. But there's a certain level of okay that goes too far into details that are outside of things I want to RP. Like
Mhm.
I'm
I
very okay
I do
with.
not want to sit in the council of the old dwarves and the new dwarves and them arguing out like in the what is it, the House of
We just finished saying good morning.
I
It's
I
time!
do like doing that, but I know that no one else does, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's also this is a scenario where it kind of also falls under it's not exactly your problem at this point. If you really wanted to RP it and want to turn it into that kind of session, I could work that out. I just need to prep
No.
that.
Nope.
But I also get the
think
feeling that's
everybody's
not something
agreed.
you guys want to do, and
Mm-mm.
it's
Yeah,
more of a I
everybody is
kind
in
of just left that
agreement.
to Grimlock to figure out.
And Wavium.
Yeah, I just want to make some
Now-
rules for how involved I can stay until they figure out that Crumrig is still alive.
The instant you start letting the priest in, that's what happens.
Yeah. I knew I wasn't gonna kill him because that's fucking
Crumrig and Ed Barra both walk up.
evil.
Our heroes. What
But then we
did
got to find.
do?
So the only thing I did want to do was find Martha, obviously. But like, I wanted to leave them with a government that was like good. But we can talk about like.
Yeah, like I said,
Elton
we
has
can.
designs.
We can kind of go through that if you want to send me kind of like ideas of what you're gonna do. We can, if we need to, just dice roll to see how outcomes kind of play out. But yeah, I don't
XRP
think.
and dice rolls. Let's do it.
Did you
That'll tide
wanna-
us over.
Did you want to do that out of session though?
Yeah, we can do that out of session.
Good.
We don't have to do that now.
We just
we
need
can
to
figure
find
that
the.
out.
Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
Continue. Oh, I was just saying, we just need to find the bankers who are going to be like, "Oh, thanks for unstoning us. Here's all of our gold."
Oh, that too.
That can be your job.
Oh, wait, diamonds. That's what we need.
Yeah, actually,
Andros is
that's
just walking
right,
around.
yeah,
Hey, so
diamonds.
we kind of saved you. So got any gold or magic items?
Zizzo.
Also,
Do I hear
where's
Zizzo?
Basically.
where's what's his name that we left at the play? What the fuck was his name?
The
Never
elf?
remember.
The
The
elf,
guy that we like abused because it was funny.
Dirty
Oh, the guy
fingers.
underground?
Oh no, Mort.
Really?
Mort?
Mort.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mort.
where's Mort?
He's still in the port. You guys ditched him.
Yeah, he's probably just
So
still
yeah,
hanging out in the.
yeah, we gotta swing by and grab Mort.
We
Yeah,
have more
he owes,
just
he owes
disappeared.
me a favor.
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
elf,
Mort,
I don't know
yeah.
where
yeah,
he guys
Mort.
took away.
Me.
Penny,
Yeah,
I think it was.
We
The rest
haven't
of
given
them-
up
Hey!
using Mort yet.
LA.
Should we use the
LA,
green?
yeah.
I think
clear
Pele got
names
left
to go
like
down
a
there?
while ago. He's still in Galaran somewhere, I think.
No, he's
No,
he's
in
still on the
port
boat.
town.
No, he's on the boat. Yeah.
He was on the
he's just-
boat. You know, he
He's
kind
in
of
the
just
harbor.
he kind
Yeah.
of took his own way, like kind of getting out. He's
Oh.
you don't know where he's at, but you can imagine he's probably somewhere still in the port.
I'm sure he managed to get. I mean, there, like you said, there are some half elves and other, other
He's-
races in the port cities. So he probably
He still
got
has some
connected.
contacts. I mean, given that he was part of Restimore's whole thing, he's had his own. I've had ideas of what he's been doing up to.
It's in
Oh.
somewhere.
Mort, on the other hand,
Electric
it's-
Boogaloo.
yeah, Mort's just kind of living it up and getting drunk. It's not probably that much of a surprise.
Andros needs to rub all of this in Ivy's face. Oh yes.
But yeah, I just kind of figured we would kind of. I don't know if we want to do like sessions over the chats thing we had, or if we want to like do mini sessions next time around for like what characters want to do interact. Because I figure it's gonna be a lot of like, it's kind of that intermediary point where loose ends are getting wrapped up and people are just kind of talking and
I think that with the schedule being a little bit Helter Skelter, that I personally think that the text mini sessions would be a good way to fill in and not have to be overwhelming.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
that
would
would be
like to
good.
throw out at least that I have been planning a conversation between Marani and Zidane that I would honestly prefer to happen in the session because I'm planning on kind of a lore dump and I would rather not do that over the text channel. Like, I'm just being real honest about that.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And Alton's designs, I wouldn't need to do even a text type chat. I literally just want to put in stuff that he wants to accomplish in like a bullet list, and you can decide what you want to do, Salty.
Okay, that works. Yeah, and like just any other conversations, like if you guys want to talk to Olrad, or you said you want to talk to Grimbar about his, or not Grimbar, Grimlock. And I still need to go over and figure out all the details for all the other things that happen, such as you making a pact with him and what that's going to entail. The
We've got
pseudo
3 new
pact with,
packs.
yeah, basically 3 new packs. 2 have now
You
contractually
get a
obligated.
pact, and you get a
Justice of the
pact.
Void.
Who is not pacted at this point?
Present.
Marani!
I mean, does Frey count?
I mean,
Technically, we all have a pact.
you all have a
mean-
pact, and Alton, you kind of do now too.
Do I really?
We're
It's
all
not a s-
warlocks now. The best
I think it's that.
class.
I think the best way
I'm
you
a
can
sugar
describe.
daddy, though. I'm the one being pacted with.
Yeah,
I
Alton's.
don't
I think
think I
is
had
much.
any more of a pack than I did when we started. Let's put it that way.
Yours is almost like almost like a contract between people as opposed to.
Yeah,
deities or-
that one. Yep.
You're
right.
basically in with the people, the faceless ones.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you've got a little bit more now too, in a sense.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
you
can
have
talk
a-
about that. I don't
Yeah.
You have a thing with your deity.
Your deity has taken a very special interest in you now.
that was neat. Yeah.
I've been
I
meaning
like
to like
the-
pull it in. And I was trying to figure out how, and I was like, all right, well, I guess this time works more now than ever since you're kind of
Yeah.
just sitting there.
It
We'll
did
have that
seem very
conversation now.
apropos. Yeah, it was like, okay, I'm
was-
I'm just sitting here being terrified for another session.
I had I had planned for that to be later, but
A little
works
bit
now
of poo
anyway.
comes out.
Yeah.
I like that he alluded
Void
to the
Beholder
multiverse.
starts screaming, and I thought I was gonna die. So this comes out.
because 2 characters have now seen kind of that extent of the multiverse in a way.
Uh-huh.
The multiverse.
What?
That's the end game.
It is.
But the one fixed point in all these multiverses and timelines is Thamor is a god of fishing. No,
Okay,
but,
I thought you were gonna say beans.
Of
That too.
all your
Well,
struggling,
the-
and where
the
did it
beans
bring
are-
you?
The beans
Back
are what
to
made you a
Thamor.
god.
the universe, it's all beans.
Beans all the way down.
It's
Everything's
po-
all
it's Planck
beans.
all the way down.
Relative. The bean theory of relativity.
The universe is at orbit. They orbit in a bean shape. The shape of the planes, bean.
But where's the
Beans
cheese?
all the way down.
Oh, that's true.
It's just bean cheese. It's bean cheese. It's cheesy bean dip.
Free bean dip.
It's
No.
beans, but if you zoom out enough, it's all made of. It's all in the shape of a cheese wedge.
Oh,
This,
no.
this is some weird culinary version of Discworld, isn't it?
Tell me that you're getting this on record.
Drag, found
So
my
this
source
is-
material.
Let's go.
It's
Fan
4
fiction.
giant beans upon the back of a massive cheese wheel, and that
Yep.
rests upon the back of a massive spectral
Goat.
cosmic goat. Yeah.
In the goat's
So
mouth is an
messy.
ass potato.
Somebody buy the
I was gonna-
Spelljammer book and give it to Salty. Let's
I
go.
was gonna say around the goat's neck is just a vast barrel of ale, because it's alcoholic goat cheese with beans.
I love you guys.
And on that note, bye stream.
Bye, stream.
We've been on this whole time.